I'm starting the recording now to let other people who can't join the webinar at the moment to take a look afterwards. Welcome. Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you. Oh, I'm on mute.
Yeah. I really appreciate you joining because this presentation, this webinar is essentially important for us as organizers. Daria, can I ask you to mute your microphone, please? Because I can hear myself.
Mm-hmm. One moment.
That's because we are speaking in the same room with Daria now. Oh, nice. Thank you so much. So I really appreciate you coming to this webinar because I'm gonna cover very important things about attending the conference and about your experience as a speaker in Russia and in Moscow in particular. So I'm gonna spend about 20 minutes covering all the major aspects of attending the conference and doing your talks. And this is what we're going to cover. First of all, I'll spend a couple of minutes about pre-conference activities, like rehearsals, etc. And then a couple of things about what to do on the conference itself during 2 days in December in Moscow. And finally, we will go through some after conference activities, and at the very end, we'll spend a couple of minutes, some time about to let you ask any questions you still have about the conference, about, I don't know, tickets, about currencies in Russia, etc. So feel free to ask any questions after the webinar. So first of all, I encourage you to put your slides, even if you have a draft version of your slides, into the Dropbox folder, because this is what our attendees on the conference ask us to do, because this is very important for them to take a look after the conference, to refresh, to remind something they see on the conference itself. So this is very good for them to have all the slides from the conference on the website. Another thing is, please don't hesitate to contact to reach program committee almost about any questions you may have or you have, because they are extremely proficient in giving some feedback about the language barriers, about some cultural differences among the Russian and non-Russian people. And they also know a lot about previous conferences in Russia, so they can give you some instant feedback about what is better to cover during your presentation in order to make even better presentation, in order to get some more questions, some more activities during the presentation or after the presentation in the discussion zone. We'll cover that a bit later. So don't ignore, please, program committee, because they try to do our best about preparing the good content of the conference, because this is very important for us as organizers to get respect from the audience. Let's move to the transfer accommodation. This is how the hotel, the venue look like. You will live there as well. It has the physical address Europe Square 2. It's almost in the center of Moscow. So you will get almost to any place of Moscow in half an hour, depending on the traffic jams, obviously, because Moscow is considerably heavy, have lots of traffic during, I don't know, rush hours. A couple of more things about a couple of points about transferring from the airport or the or some railway station. Moscow have 3 airports around, and in order to for you better experience, you can either take a train from the airport to the city center. It usually takes about half an hour up to 1 hour to get almost to the city center. And I personally recommend to take a train because it's pretty safe, pretty straightforward. So, and you can also take a look around around the Moscow. But if you hesitate about your your willingness to get a train, we recommend you to order a taxi. You can call Uber, Get Taxi, Yandex Taxi, or some other service available in Russia. But if you still hesitate, you can do that by yourself, because sometimes you might not have a local SIM card. We can provide it for you. So just let us know. We can also arrange a taxi for you. And in order to do that, please reach Lisa. She will do all necessary things to meet you in the airport, in the railway station. There is a special guy who will hold a special plate with your name. So he'll meet you, guide you through the gates, and let you take a taxi. And as I already mentioned, you will live in the same hotel where the conference will take place. So you literally won't need to change your clothes when you go from the hotel room to the venue to talk. But I still recommend to change your clothes. The city tour. The beginning of December is sometimes not that predictable season, so we recommend you to take some warm clothes with you, and we usually start about 12 from the hotel lobby, and I invite you to come to that lobby 5 minutes before in order to do things on time, and we guarantee to return you back to the hotel, back to the venue around 6 p.m. After a short gap, 30 minutes gap, we invite you to make a sound check. We call it sound check by historical reasons, but anyway, it's a check of your hardware, of your laptop, of your presentation, of colors on our projectors, of sound on microphones, etc. We will have about 1 hour to check every single thing which could fail during the conference. This is extremely important step. Please don't ignore it as well. If by some reasons you won't be there during on 6:30 on 5th of December in the venue, please take reserve some time to check your hardware on the first day of the conference, in the very beginning, or on the second, depending on your time slot. Another very important thing, the sound check will be conducted by a special person. We call them track owners. They will be located in their rooms. So you will just go into your room, you'll find this a track owner, and he'll help you to check everything you need tomorrow or the day after tomorrow in the conference on your talk. After sound check, we invite you to a speaker's dinner. It's a good it's a good tradition for our conference. We're still discussing, we're still trying to find the restaurant for all of us. And we will start about 8 p.m. It's not a problem if you're late. I believe we'll see there till 10 or maybe till 11. So feel free to come almost any time. Let's move to the conference itself. First of all, when you come to the conference, you need to bring a badge, because otherwise you won't be allowed to get into a room because of our guard policies, some security policies. So you bring a badge on the special desk for speakers. Then you please come to track before you talk. We usually reserve about 20-25 minutes to let everything checked, double checked before you talk, to plug in your laptop, to refresh your presentation in your mind in order to run things smoothly. And after the talk, we will invite you to a discussion zone. We'll also serve a lunch in the speaker's room this time, so you'll have a quiet room for taking lunch to prepare your presentation, etc. Some of you will be asked to give an interview during one of our breaks, so don't be surprised by a special person. His name is Eugene or Oleg. They will find some of you and invite to a special interview room for online streaming. And please don't forget to make some photos for your memories. We'll put them into social networks afterwards. We are still figuring out how to optimally organize the schedule, because we have quite many restrictions, quite many boundaries. So we'll let you know about all the changes, and we'll let you know about the final schedule of the conference. I believe, Derek, can you correct me? It will happen in 2 weeks, in 2 next weeks.
Yes, maybe in a week.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you still have issues, some comments about the schedule, about your preferred time, please don't hesitate to send us a comment to say us about that. Also, this is very important for better understanding of the audience where to go during the conference. We supply all the talks with the complexity icons, and we have 3 of them reflecting some deepness, some complexity. It starts from the smoothie one. It could be considered like an introduction to technology. Some medium complexity is for practicing engineers, we call it that way. And the most difficult to understand, most, how to say it, most specific talks are supplied with the hardcore icon. Another one, the last one, it's a kind of funny icon for those who, for those talks who can make some unpredictable consequences, some talks which could fire some holy wars, some, I don't know, some strange ideas, and people can argue against each other. Someone has joined. Can you please mute your microphone?
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. This is how the discussion zone looks like. We invite every single speaker after the talk to go to a special area with a flip chart, with a with some markers, in order to continue your communication with the audience, with the community, about some questions about your talks, some questions about your experience, best practices, etc. This is considered to be one of the most important social activities on the conference. Please be ready for that, because sometimes people constantly ask you questions for half an hour, 1 hour. I saw a discussion zone which lasts for 2 hours after the talk. But usually it won't take so much time, but my personal recommendation to be active, to communicate with people, to answer any question, to ask questions to other attendees, to other speakers, and please, and finally, just have fun, because it's a conference. This is an event for you. It's a, I don't know, it's a holiday, finally. The next point is party. It's almost a holiday. We will invite all the attendees to a party with some beverages, with some snacks after the first day of the conference, in order to make some more close discussions, to get familiar with each other, etc. And in parallel with the party, for those who don't want to just have fun, they can spend some their time with some good results for them. We called it both sessions. Both means bird of a feather. It's a special section. We're gonna have about 3 of them, a couple of them in Russian, and one will be probably in English. We will let you know, we'll let the other audience know about the topics of those both sessions, and every person can grab a beer, grab some snack to go and go to a discussion zone to talk about, I don't know, about workload testing, about web testing, about personal development, etc. This is very, very important for all those guys who already went to a party and they want to get some benefits from attending the conference even after hours. Another funny activities on the conference will be Ignite Karaoke Battle. That means we'll show some random slides, and a couple of speakers, a couple of attendees, they will need to give a presentation based on those slides they just saw. So that's very interesting. It's just another experience for speakers, and that's usually a lot of fun. So you're already also welcome to join this karaoke battle. That's going to be fun. In case you experience or will experience any issues, any questions you have, please don't hesitate to reach Daria. She's online. Please wave. This is Daria. Yeah, this is Daria. We also have, I believe we have Lisa. She's probably online. She's our travel manager. He knows everything about travel, about visa, about your hotel rooms, and about taxis. So don't hesitate to ask her about anything related to transportation. And still, if you want to chat with someone, you can reach me. This is me. Hello, Andrei. Lots of parties. You know, a conference will last for 2 days, and after every day we will have a party. I hope you won't suffer from that. And after the second day of the conference, when the conference will be closed, we'll invite you to a special closed party for speakers and organizers. It's going to be some very close social event for all those who just did that conference. So you're welcome. We are still not sure where it's going to take place, but we'll let you know after, just in a couple of weeks as well. It's time to think about departing from Russia and from Moscow. I encourage you to ask Lisa to arrange you a taxi, or if you want, you can take train to the airport. You can take a metro, etc. Moscow is pretty good in terms of transportation, so you won't miss. But anyway, we are always open for helping you. After the conference, we appreciate your speakers' feedback, because this is a point where we can grow, and we will send you a feedback form. It's not that big. As for participants, and we will ask you some questions that afterwards we will be analyzing it and doing our next Heisenbug conference even better. In turn, we'll provide you the feedback from our audience who attended your talk. The statistics says that about 70–80% of our audience, they leave feedback about the conference. This is essentially important, and that I consider it like one of the most important tools for you as speakers to grow, to improve your skills, to learn more about the audience. This is very good because people usually write something you won't even imagine about your presentation. And obviously, we'll send a link to the video playlist, and we'll share some photos afterwards in Facebook and WelcomeToHeisenbug. VK is a Russian Facebook. So this is almost it. I'm really looking forward to see you in person in Moscow soon. And that's a good time for you to ask questions, because Daria and me and Lisa, we are waiting for your questions and can answer anything you want to ask about Russia, about Russian culture, about Ushanka, vodka, and balalaika. This is questions time. Hello.
I have no specific questions, but I just want to say thank you, spasiba, and I'm really looking forward to the conference. I have a lot of Russian friends, and I've worked with Russian people before, so I know how to say privyet and spasiba, and that's about it.
Oh, nice, nice. I can teach you how to say good day.
Tell me now.
Доброго дня. It's a bit complicated, but still доброго, which means good. Дня means day. Доброго дня.
I will make sure I can say that competently before I arrive. Thank you.
We have a recording.
Awesome. I'll learn a few other words.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to add on my thanks. I've spoken at a number of conferences. I really appreciate all the work you're doing as organizers. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you for all the hard work.
It's our pleasure to have all of you on board, because, you know, Russia, I worked a lot for several years. I worked organizing the conference, and sometimes people say, oh, Russia, oh, it's a wild country. There are bears on streets, you know. I don't want to go to Russia because it's always snow. I don't like skiing, so I won't go. But in reality, Russia is very, very advanced in terms of technology, because I traveled to United States, to Europe many times, and I can surely say that we have cell phones and internet plans which are even better than in the United States and in Europe. That's just one point, one aspect of different views in Russia. So that's my personal achievement, personal responsibility, to have all of you here in Russia, because I pretend to change your views on Russia. I don't want to make just another conference. I just want to make just a bigger thing about Russia. It's not about politics. It's just about people's perception, you know. Thanks for all those good words for us. And I can spend about 30 seconds to show you this bug. It's a logo. If some of you have any guess, what does it mean? Why we have a bug in a gas mask? When we thought about the Heisenbug name a couple of years ago, we just thought, okay, a Heisenbug, which means a bug which extremely hard to spot, extremely hard to identify, to fix. So we supplied a bug with a gas mask. So it means that we try to kill that bug. We try to find him, to identify, but he is protected against our means. So it's a Heisenbug, his advanced bug. Okay, if you have any questions, we are still available. We are online. And I look forward to see you in person, to say привет to all of you here in Russia, to have a city tour with you in Moscow, and see you in a month. Bye.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.